for the First Division Championship game between Keighley Cougars and the Huddersfield Giants. The Keighley team is number 1 Keith Dixon, number 2 Matthew Foster, number 3 Nick Pinkney, number 4 Andy King, making his full debut this afternoon, number 5 Jason Critchley, number 6 and captain Darryl Powell, number 7 scrum half Chris Robinson, number 8 Ian Gately, number 9 Jason Ramshaw, number 10 Grant Dorey, number 11 Darren Fleary, number 12 Sonny Wackaroo, and loose forward number 13 Martin Wood. And the substitutes for Keith this afternoon are number 14 Phil Cantillon, number 15 Dave Larder, number 16 Simon Ray, and number 17 Steve Parsons. The Huddersfield side at number 1 Ben Barton, number 2 Brimond Kebby, number 3 Darryl Shelford, number 4 Greg Austin, number 5 Dean Hanger, number 6 and captain Gary Schofield, number 7 Greg Mackay, and the forwards number 8 and Adrian 2, number 9 Lee Saint-Hilaire, number 10 Bob Marsden, number 11 Lee Milner, number 12 Basil Richards, and 13 number Alan Wilson. The substitutes for Huddersfield: number 14 Steve Booth, number 15 James Bunyan, number 16 Gary Coulter, and number 17 Dave King. The conditions here at the McAlpine Stadium this afternoon are fine, well, relatively fine. There's a little bit of damp around and it has been drizzling, but the ground itself looks very sandy in the middle, but very firm. I've actually walked across it, so conditions are absolutely ideal really for fast open rugby. Both sides are noted for this season for playing good open rugby, and both sides remain undefeated as to today. So we've got an enthralling contest here this afternoon in prospect, with certainly the big clash going to be between the two captains and rival standoff halves, both international players. Keighley Cougars, Darryl Powell, and his rival this afternoon, recent transfer from Leeds, the most capped international player, along with Mick Sullivan, their captain Gary Schofield. Now Huddersfield kicking off from our right to left, and Brimham Kebby puts a long high ball into the Cougar 22-metre area, picked up by Chris Robinson and passed on to Darren Fleary. Fleary put down just short of the 22-metre mark. Robinson to Wood. Wood coming away down this near stand side, makes 5 or 6 metres and put to ground by Aussie prop Adrian 2. Sonny Wackaroo now gets over the advantage line, but put to ground by Marsden and Saint-Hilaire. Ian Gately crashes over the 10-metre mark, but still inside the Keighley half. Robinson now feeds Grant Dorey. Dorey put down right on the halfway line, but the referee this afternoon's game, Mr Graham Shaw from Dewsbury, is not happy with the Huddersfield players encroaching in the 10-metre mark. So Keith Dixon pumps a ball into touch, gains some 15 metres. So Ramshaw with that tap feeds Ian Gately, big Aussie prop charging towards the Huddersfield 22-metre line, some 7-8 metres in from touch. Ramshaw to Robinson, Robinson to Powell, Powell looking for runners, finds Andy King, the Aussie making his debut this afternoon, takes play just over the Huddersfield 22-metre mark. Robinson going on his own, lovely little half break there by Chris Robinson, and again Huddersfield penalised for encroaching within the 10-metre mark that play the ball. So Keighley with the first opportunity to put a score on the board, some 20 metres in from that far touch line. And Keith Dixon coming back right onto the 22-metre mark. A lovely jinking run there by Robinson, really put the pressure on Huddersfield, and obviously the defence moved up too quickly as he got up to play the ball. So the first penalty this afternoon going to the Cougars, and let's hope that Keith Dixon's got his kicking boots on here this afternoon. As I said earlier, this is going to be a very tight game for both sides, much legally awaited as well. with Huddersfield having got off to a great start this season. I actually said earlier that they were undefeated, but they went down narrowly to South in the first game of the season. But Keith Dixon's kick is pulled to the left of the post, so it'll be a drop out on the 22-metre mark. And the Far Towners, as they're known locally, although they play at the McAlpine Stadium, drop out on the 22-metre mark. Picked up by Wood. Martin Wood takes play right onto the halfway line, just this side of the centre. Darren Fleury now charging into the Huddersfield half, but put to ground by Marsden and Toole. Robinson back inside to Powell. Powell going on, he decides to go on his own, makes a half break, but eventually put to ground by the Huddersfield luckily Saint-Hilaire. Robinson to Gately. Gately charging to the Huddersfield 22 on the far side of the field, some 12 metres in from the far touchline. Good run there by the big Keighley number 8. Dory now gains 2 or 3 extra metres. Robinson now put a little grubber kick through, goes underneath Saint-Hilaire's legs, but picked up by Ben Barton, the Huddersfield full-back. McMackey with from acting half feeds Darryl Shelford, and this time Keighley are penalised for being within the 10-metre mark. Schofield finds touch, 10 metres in, still inside the Huddersfield half. Toole now, it's the halfway line, but second penalty to Huddersfield there for Keighley encroaching within the 10 metres. So Gary Schofield now with another kick, finds touch right on the 10 metres this side of the Keighley 22. Toole now hits the Keighley 22-metre mark, but put to ground by Powell and Wackaroo. Basil Richards, a big Huddersfield second row forward, pulled down just 10 metres short of the Cougar line. Mackey to Schofield. Schofield looking trying to go on his own, trying around Martin Woods, but Woods and Pinckney put him down right on the 10-metre mark. Dean Hanger, Aussie's wingman, trying to find a way through, but again Pinckney and Woody put him down to ground. Schofield now puts a long high kick into the Keighley in-goal area, but they're picked up by Critchley. So tap 22 there, taken on the full by Jason Critchley in the in-goal area. Pinckney coming away, turn around Greg Mackey, but Mackey puts him to ground 15 metres inside the Keighley half. Ramshaw feeding Critchley. Jason Critchley comes looking for work a lot, likes these runs down the middle, and almost reaches the halfway line. Robinson looking for runners, feeds Darren Fleury, but Fleury put to ground by Marsden and Saint-Hilaire. Powell from acting half going, makes a good 12-13 metres into the Huddersfield half. Robinson feeding Wackaroo on the outside. Wackaroo managed to slip the ball back inside. The long ball back inside to Keith Dixon. Dixon trying to jink his way through, but wrapped up there by Basil Richards, the Huddersfield second row forward. Jason Ramshaw in acting half pumps the ball down into the left-hand corner of the field. Goes into touch in the in-goal area, so it'll be a tap 22 to Huddersfield. Fairly even Stevens at the moment, with both sides have had him play inside each other's half. Shelford put to ground by Gately there. Huddersfield now in possession with Lee Milner, ex-academy player, trying to find a way through, but Marsden now put to ground by King and Daniel Powell. Got to Schofield with the ball, long ball out to Alan Wilson. Wilson finds Greg Austin, but Austin wrapped up by Pinckney, but I think the referee, Mr. Graham Shaw, not happy with Nick Pinckney's tackle on his opposite number, Greg Austin, and he's calling the touch, judge. I think that'll be a penalty to Huddersfield for a possible head-eye tackle by Nick Pinckney. Certainly a long ball from Gary Schofield, found Austin out wide, and for a second or two looked very dangerous, but Pinckney very quick to react. St Hilaire to Toole into the Keighley 22-metre area, but wrapped up by Fleary and Ramshaw. St Hilaire to Marsden, but tries to bump off Gately, but gang tackle there by Pinckney, Fleary and Gately. St Hilaire to Basil Richards, stride into the post, and with St Hilaire in, and St Hilaire almost over, but three Keighley players wrap him up right under the Cougars post. Mackey, long ball out to Schofield, but didn't a very good pass, but Schofield still in possession, looking for a way through, but put to ground 10 metres out by Dory and Ramshaw. Marsden acting half, feeds Mackey, long ball out to Shelford. Shelford almost loses the ball there in the tackle, and it's picked up by Darryl Powell. Certainly Powell wrapped Shelford up when he looked very dangerous on that far side of the field. Ramshaw going on his own from acting half, but Huddersfield looked quickly in the tackle. Ramshaw wrapped up there by number 2, Brimham Kebby. Wood now trying to find through, but Huddersfield penalised for head-high tackle there by one of the Huddersfield players on Martin Wood. And this time Keith Dixon pumps the ball into touch on the far side of the field, some 12 metres short of the halfway line. Sonny Wackaroo now hits the halfway line, but put to ground by number 11, Lee Milner. Ramshaw takes the ball on the far side again with Robinson. Robinson looking for runners, feeds Darren Fleary, and Fleary steps out of Bob Marsden's tackle, but put to ground by St Hilaire. Robinson feeds Powell. Powell looking for Wood on the inside. Martin Woods makes some 5 or 6 metres on this side of the field. Pinckney acting half, feeds Robinson. Robinson to Gately. Gately striding down the middle, but wrapped up there by Bob Marsden and Lee Milner, the two Huddersfield players. Keith Dixon joining the line. Feeds Andy King on the far side of the field, and King put down 10 metres inside from the far side. And a superb score there by... Thought it was a superb score there by Jason Critchley after a clever bit of play from Keith Dixon, but Critchley must have just put a foot in touch, and touch judge signaling that that Critchley had stepped into touch just before he scored the try. So Huddersfield and Ramshaw stolen the ball there in the 1-to-1 tackle, which they're allowed to do this season. And Keighley moving the ball across field with Powell feeding Woods. Wood finds Pinckney. Pinckney looking for a way through, but wrapped up there by Alan Wilson, the Huddersfield loose forward. Martin Foster, Fleary now trying to find a way through. Put down 11 metres short of the Huddersfield line. Ramshaw feeds Dory. Dory charging to the Huddersfield post, but good tackle there by Lee St Hilaire, the Huddersfield looker. Ramshaw. Robinson back inside to Gately, and Gately put down some 3 or 4 metres short of the Huddersfield line. Ramshaw going on his own, and Ramshaw over, but the referee has signalled a double movement there by Ramshaw, so Keighley penalised 1 metre from the Huddersfield line. Certainly Jason Ramshaw a bit unlucky there. He tried a little kick through from acting half, but the ball hit the post and obviously picked up, and I think the the referee, Mr. Shaw, signalled a double movement. So St Hilaire, 10 metres from the Huddersfield line, decides to go on his own, but put to ground by Powell and Andy King. Lee Milner looking for a way through, but King wraps Milner up this time. St Hilaire finds Marsden. Marsden trying to drive hard up the middle, but put down by Sonny Wackaroo. Mackey with a long ball out to Schofield. Schofield looking at runners, finds Wilson. Wilson feeds left winger Dean Hanger. Hanger find a way through, steps back inside, but still going his Hanger over into the Keighley half, but eventually put to ground by Matthew Foster and Chris Robinson. Wilson, look, Schofield to Mackey. Mackey back inside to Richards. Richards keeps the ball alive, but goes forward and picked up by Chris Robinson, the Keighley scrum half, but the referee, Mr. Shaw, signals that there were no advantage to Keighley there, so he's pulled them back to where the first offence took place, which is some 7-8 metres inside the Cougars half. And a knock onto it by Huddersfield, so Keighley head and ball. Robinson feeds, finds Powell. Powell for Pinkney. Pinkney looking for a way through, but wrapped up there by number 1 Ben Barton and loose forward Alan Wilson. And Powell to Robinson, Robinson to Wood. Wood looking for a way through, but put down on it on the halfway line by Richards and Austin. Wackaroo now, centre field, makes some 4 or 5 metres, hard earned as well. Ramshaw to Powell. Powell looking for runners, back inside to Dory. Dory trying to find a way through, but he's wrapped up by Toole and Marsden, the two Huddersfield props. Ramshaw going on his own from acting half, but makes some 5 or 6 feeds. Woods looking for runners, but Darren Fleary on the wrong side. Keith Dixon now steps inside his opposite number, Ben Barton. Long ball out to Dory. Dory looking for runners, still keeps the ball alive to Darryl Powell. Powell a long ball out to Dixon again. Dixon going on his own, but ball knocked down by a Huddersfield player, and I think it'll be back to 6 there with Chris Robinson in possession, just short of the 10-metre line. Ramshaw from acting half finds back Darryl Powell, Darren Fleary. Fleary hits the 10-metre mark. Ramshaw now to Gately. Gately charging for that Huddersfield line, but put down by 2 second row forwards, Milner and Richards. And Jason Ramshaw from acting half, nicked over for a superb opportunist try. There looked to be nothing on there. And Jason Ramshaw took 2 players over the line with him and managed to wriggle his arms and the ball free and pop the ball down over the Huddersfield line. So a superb opening score by hooker Jason Ramshaw. Some fine opportunist play there by this young Keighley Cougars hooker. It's not the first time this season we've seen him do that, but Ian Gately pulled down just short of the line, and from the ensuing play the ball, Ramshaw took 2 players who were marking up at the play the ball, forced them over the line, wriggled his arms and the ball free, and popped this ball down for the first score of the game. So Keith Dixon with a kick some 5 or 6 metres to the right hand side of these uprights, pulls it in on the far upright to convert Ramshaw's opening try. So Keighley Cougars off to a great start this afternoon after some 16 minutes of play, leading by 6 points to 0. Jason Ramshaw try, duly converted by Keighley full-back Keith Dixon. It'll be Keighley to kick off, to restart play, kick into the team that's just conceded the points. So it's a long ball towards the Huddersfield post, and a bad mistake there by a Huddersfield defender, touched the ball and the ball has gone dead. So brilliant kick off there by Keith Dixon, put them under pressure. The first player that could possibly have taken the ball let it go, and the ball bounced awkwardly for one of the Huddersfield players stood on the dead ball line. So it'll be a drop out, Gary Schofield to drop out under his own post. Be picked up by Darryl Powell. Powell finds Wackaroo. Wackaroo charging forward to that Huddersfield line. Brilliant run there by Sonny's second row forward, Sonny Wackaroo. Runs on to Grant Dory, and Dory's all down some 2 or 3 metres short of the line. Ramshaw again to Critchley, and Critchley bouncing his way through. And there's gang tackling over there, and they bundle him into touch. But a brilliant break there by Sonny Wackaroo. I think some of the Keighley players questioning the referee there. He should have shouted hell, because Critchley was held and then driven into touch some 5 or 6 metres by 3 or 4 Huddersfield players. So Huddersfield in possession, some 11-12 metres from their own goal line. Mackie acting half, feeds Richards, big second row forward, charging through. Certainly an handful, this ex-Warrington player, when he gets into open play. Huddersfield bringing the ball down this near touchline, but put to ground by loose forward Alan Wilson, put to ground by Wood and Gately. Dory now in on Adrian Toole with Ramshaw. Sorry, Marsden. Toole now, it's the halfway line, but wrapped up again by Dory and Ramshaw. These two get through a lot of play each game, but they've been penalised for holding down in that tackle. Gary Schofield fails to find touch, and Matthew Foster brings play almost back to the halfway line and put to ground by Alan Wilson, the Huddersfield loose forward. Nick Pinkney to Wood to Robinson. Robinson finds Powell, centre field. Powell looking for a way through, but his opposite number, Gary Schofield's up marking him as Mackie and Milner put to ground. Sonny Wackaroo now in possession. Some 8-9 metres inside the Huddersfield half. Critchley acting half, finds Robinson. Robinson to Fleary makes some 5 or 6 metres upfield. Robinson going on his own now, finds Fleary again in centre field. Fleary trying to find a way through, but wrapped up by Toole, and referees held play up. There's somebody being sent to the blood bin, and it looks like Darren Fleary it is. The referee signaling that he's got to get some medical attention, so he's obviously got a cut that's bleeding badly, so can't do it to restart play. Ramshaw feeding Gately charging into the Huddersfield 22, but put to ground right on the 22 metre mark by, and it was a 5th and final tackle, so it's an handover there to Huddersfield. A bit of confusion there. I don't think the Keighley players realised it was the last tackle, so Huddersfield in possession now. Richards charging to the halfway line, but good tackle there by David Ladd, who's come on for Darren Fleary. A substitute that doesn't count. There's Ben Barton trying to find a way through the Keighley defence and makes some 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Mackie, long ball out to Schofield. Schofield looking for runners, finds Milner. Milner finds Austin out on the Shelford out on that far side, but he's wrapped up by Andy King. King and Brian Kibby loses the ball, and King regathers. So Keighley play the ball. Robinson to Critchley, who's coming field. Wood to Pinkney. Pinkney turn around. Sent Hilaire, but the referee not happy with Huddersfield encroaching in the 10 metre mark, and Keith Dixon quick to keep play going. Pumps that ball downfield almost to the 22 metre mark. Certainly Keighley trying to keep the roll on here. And the referee just blown his whistle again because he's not happy with 2 balls in on the field. So Ramshaw taking the top again. Feeds Ian Gately, and Gately charging into the Huddersfield 22. Makes some 12 metres there. Robinson, long ball out to Powell. Powell looking for runners, finds Andy King back in field, but his progress is duly halted there by Lee Centelaire. Robinson from acting half finds Wackaroo. Wackaroo feeding Wood, and Wood looking for Ramshaw, but unable to offload. 10 metres short of the Huddersfield line and centre field. Powell going on his own to the Huddersfield post. He pulled down, he's almost over the line. In fact, the referee signal has been held on his back. Certainly some quick thinking there by the Keighley captain and stand-off half, Daryl Powell. Saw a gap in that Huddersfield defence and headed straight for the post, but was tackled on his back over the try line. So it'll be Keighley head and ball. Robinson feeds Powell again outside, and Critchley. Powell offloads to Critchley, and Critchley pulled down some 6 metres short of the Huddersfield line. Daryl Powell in at acting half. Is he going on his own? No. Ball out to Martin Woods. Martin Woods looking for a way through right under the Huddersfield post, and Huddersfield under a lot of pressure at the moment. Ramshaw feeding Gately, and Gately battering his way to the line and put down just short of the line. And the referee signalling that again Gately been held up over the line, so it'll be a scrum down 10 metres. Gately must have lost the ball there because Huddersfield now in possession, and Schofield put to ground there by Larder and Powell, and the referee not happy with Larder coming in for the second tackle. And referee Mr. Shaw having a word with David Larder, but certainly Gary Schofield retaliated, so I won't be certainly be having a word with him as well. And he's telling Schofield to cool it a bit, but Schofield with his kick into touch, and this time finds touch some 3 or 4 metres outside the Huddersfield 22 as Adrian Toole tries to fight his way upfield, but put to ground by Larder and Ramshaw. Richards now, centre field. It's meets reception committee of Sonny Wackaroo and Ian Gately. Lee centre left, scampering away from acting half and hits the halfway line, but Keighley penalised for knocking the ball. Oh, head-eye tackle. I thought he was penalising him for pulling that ball. Two men tackling, one pulling the ball out, but one of them must have been fractionally high, and the referee has given Huddersfield a further penalty right on the halfway line. Certainly a bit of elusive running from acting half there by Lee St Hilaire, the Huddersfield hooker. Schofield pumps that ball into the far side into touch on the far side of the field. St Hilaire feeds Toole. Toole charges to the Keighley 22, and another head-eye tackle there by Daryl Powell, and he's sent him away. And I think I'll be having a word with him. Certainly another head-eye tackle by either Powell or Wackaroo, and I'm not certain who it is, although he's pulling Jason Ramshaw. Certainly things are getting a little bit hot out there at the moment in the tackling department with both sides, and Huddersfield gaining a further penalty. And certainly a lot of penalties been conceded in this first half. Some 25 minutes gone in this game here at the Alpine Stadium as Toole charges towards the Cougar line. Marsden now looking for a way through. Looked to be passing at first and then decided to go on his own, but put to ground by Gately and Larder. Schofield now, centre field, back inside to St Hilaire. Hilaire looking to offload, but eventually put to ground. Some 8 metres short. Mackie this side of the field, back inside to Austin, but that looked very suspiciously forward. The referee's wave play on. Schofield, long ball out to Milner, and Milner out to Kebby. Ball has gone past Kebby and it eventually rolled into touch. Certainly a sloppy ball there by the Huddersfield second row forward Lee Milner. So a scrum down 20 metres in from the far touch line and some 6 or 7 metres outside the Cougar 22 metre mark. So Robinson feeding Critchley, who's coming field, looking for a way down the middle, but wrapped up there by loose forward Alan Wilson. Robinson to Powell. Powell is trying to step outside. Wilson again, but Keighley just short of the halfway line as Martin Woods is getting some good 7 or 8 metres and takes play 2 or 3 metres inside the Huddersfield half. Ramshaw to Robinson, Robinson to Wackaroo. Wackaroo coming back towards his touchline and losing the ball there, and they've got away with that. Sonny Wackaroo looked to lose the ball, but Grant Dory now centre field gains some 5-6 metres. Final tackle as Ramshaw feeds Robinson. Robinson will pump this ball into the left hand corner and does so, but the ball's going to run dead. So we're tap 22 to Huddersfield with a hut, but the referee signaling just stopping the clock at the moment because we've got a Huddersfield player down injured here. Some 11 metres inside their own half in centre field. Not certain who it is at the moment, but gets to his feet. Certainly taking a knock there. And the physio signaling for a stretcher, so he looks badly concussed. Not certain who it is. Still not certain who it is, but as soon as I find... Oh, number 13, Alan Wilson. So he'll be substituted by number 15, James Bunyan. So Huddersfield with a tap 22 after that kick through by Chris Robinson, who was looking to find touch in this top left right hand corner of the field. The ball eventually running dead. So Toole bringing the ball away towards this side of the field, but his progress halted by Wood and Larder. Richards now is wrapped up by Grant Dory, Jason Ramshaw and Martin Wood. St Hilaire feeds Marsden. Marsden going in field, but his progress halted by Ian Gately and Sonny Wackaroo. Making little headway at the moment, Huddersfield, with number 5 coming in field, Dean Hanger trying to find a way through. Hits the halfway line, but his progress halted by the 2 Aussies. Darryl Shelford putting a kick through on the floor, but Well covered there by Chris Robinson. Robinson looking to bring play away, but he's put to ground some 7-8 metres from the far touchline. Andy King now, but his progress is halted by Brim and Kebby right on the 22-metre mark. Critchley now coming in to join the action. Ramshaw feeding Powell, centre field. Powell steps outside Basil Richards' tackle and eventually put to ground by Bob Marsden, and just inside the Keighley half as Larder hits the halfway line, and he's put to ground some 2 or 3 metres inside the Huddersfield half by Milner and Marsden. Dory now in possession, charging away down that far side of the field. Pulled down some 3 or 4 metres short of the Huddersfield 22. Ramshaw acting half, finds Dixon. Dixon will put a high ball up, does so, but well taken there by Huddersfield full-back Ben Barton, and Keith Dixon wraps him up. Substitute forward James Bunyan on for the injured Alan Wilson, and the Cougars penalised as Lee St-Hilaire takes a quick one from the quick tap and pulled down just 2 or 3 metres short of the Cougars from the halfway line as Hanger again comes in field to join the action. Proving a very elusive customer, this little Aussie left winger Dean Hanger, but Grant Dory hanging on grimly there, and he looks to be simbing in Grant Dory for 10 minutes for impeding and Dean Hanger from playing that ball. So some 30 minutes gone into the first half, and Cougars number 10 Grant Dory been simbing. So Schofield takes a tap and feeds Basil Richards, and the big Huddersfield second row forward just strides manfully up the middle, but put to ground by Gately and Ramshaw. Toole now finds Milner out wide, but unable to offload. Lee St-Hilaire finds Greg Mackie to Schofield. Schofield out wide to Austin. Austin's looking a way around, but Woods wraps him up well there, right on the 22-metre mark. Schofield feeding Marsden. Marsden out to Toole. Toole looking to keep his ball alive as he finds Hooker's Lee St-Hilaire in support. And Huddersfield take play right to the Keighley 10-metre mark as Ian Gately thumps him to the floor. Schofield puts a little grubber kick in, but a superb try there. Opportunist play by Greg Austin, the Huddersfield centre. A deft little grubber kick through by Gary Schofield. The ball looked to be running dead as Keighley looked to have that ball covered, but Greg Austin nipped through and just manages to ground the ball just short of the dead ball line. And so with 30 minutes gone in this first half, Huddersfield have pegged back 4 points with a good opportunist try there by their centre Greg Austin. Former Cougars player as well, that Greg Austin, but certainly not very popular with the Cougars fans for one reason or another. So Brimham Kebby with a difficult kick. It's some 16 metres to the left of the uprights, but certainly within kicking distance. So can Kebby level the scores here at the McAlpine Stadium with 31 minutes gone in this first half? Pucks the ball and pulls it, and it hits the upright. It looked to be going between the posts, but just curled away at the last second, and eventually hit the left-hand upright and bounced back out. So Keighley leading by 6 points to 4 with 31 minutes gone in this first half. So Huddersfield to restart play. Keighley leading by 6 points to 4, and had that kick gone over by Brimham Kebby, which finally hit the upright, we would have been level pegging. At Schofield now kicks off along the floor, stopped by Robinson. Robinson finds Larder, and Larder trying to find some hard metres upfield, but put to ground by Richards and Marsden. Robinson now finds Matt Foster coming in from the far side, but trying to find a way through between Schofield and Milner. Sonny Wackaroo throws the ball in back out to Andy King, and Andy King looking for a way around the outside, but he's wrapped up by Brimham Kebby. Jason Critchley coming in field now. Strong run there by Critchley. Makes 5 or 6 metres. Darryl Powell now on his own down the centre field. Some 10 metres short of the halfway line, and Keith Dixon pumps a long high ball down into the Huddersfield half, and it's knocked on there by Brimham Kebby, much to the delight of the Cougar fans here at the McAlpine Stadium. Bad mistake there by Kebby. He looked to have it well covered, and there was nobody putting him under any undue pressure, but certainly advantageous for the Cougars here as they've got head and ball now, some 10 metres short of the Huddersfield 22. Robinson, long ball out to Darryl Powell. Powell looking at runners, finds Critchley on the inside, but dummy runner there with Andy King. Keith Dixon in acting half. Out to Powell again. Powell certainly instrumental in a lot of the Cougar play. Finds Martin Woods, and Martin Woods hits the Huddersfield 22. Ramshaw to Robinson. Robinson to Gately this time. Gately back to Robinson. Robinson finding Sonny Wackaroo, and Wackaroo looking for a way through that middle, but wrapped up by 2 Huddersfield tacklers. Darryl Powell now looking on his own, Powell, and looking to offload, but loses the ball to number 15, James Bunyan, and he loses the ball to Nick Pinkney. Pinkney going now for the Huddersfield line. Pinkney almost over, he's there! Superb try by Nick Pinkney. There looked to be nothing on. There were 3 or 4 Huddersfield players that had him well wrapped up, and Pinkney, and he isn't their Vista players, managed to wriggle through, fight his way over, and pop the ball down over the Huddersfield try line. Nothing on at all, but Nick Pinkney wriggled free of 2 tacklers. I was going to say use his weight, but he hadn't a lot of weight to use, hadn't Nick, but managed to wriggle free, and with one Huddersfield player hanging on grimly, managed to get an outstretched arm with the ball at the end of it over the Huddersfield line for a brilliant score. Some 34.5 minutes gone in this first half, and Keighley go further in front with Nick Pinkney notching the 6th try of this new season. It's 93rd in total, but already registering 6 tries for this new campaign, with only the 4th game of the season in progress. So Keith Dixon with a kick to the right hand side of the post, some 15 metres to the right hand side, and tries to hook it in, but it's not been curled in far enough and goes to the left of the far side upright. So Keighley leading by 10 points to 4 after 35 minutes play in the first half here at the McAlpine Stadium. Certainly Keighley have capitalised on 2 golden opportunities. A spill ball there by Huddersfield, picked up by Pinkney and capitalised on. So Keith Dixon to restart play, puts a long high ball towards Greg Mackey. Mackey feeds Adrian Toole, this big Aussie prop, charges towards the Huddersfield 22. Kebby in from acting half, comes in field, but he's wrapped up. His progress is halted by Ramshaw and Larder. St Hilaire feeds back Richards. Richards offloads to Kebby again, but his progress halted by Ian Gately and Darryl Powell, and Dean Hanger now proving very elusive is this young Aussie left winger. St Hilaire to Schofield. Schofield looking for runners, but eventually feeds Brimham Kebby on the far side of the field. Darryl Shalford acting half to Schofield. Schofield puts a high ball, but it's gone no distance. In fact, it's been hacked on by Greg Mackey, and well taken there by Keith Dixon, and Mackey going in for a second bite. Looked at the swinging arm by Greg Mackey, the Aussie, Huddersfield's Aussie scrum half, ex-Warrington player, as Matt Foster tries to find a way down this side of the field. Ramshaw now bumps off one player, eventually put to ground by Bunyan. Martin Wood acting half, comes on his own down this side, sets St Hilaire, tries to stand off Austin, but the wrestle him to the floor right on the halfway line. Ramshaw to Robinson, Robinson to Critchley. Critchley coming from left hand side, almost gets out of that despairing Lee Milner tackle. Dixon feeds Robinson, Robinson looking to jink his way through at Critchley in support, and Dixon pops a ball into towards that far side of the field, and Brimham Kebby picks up. I think Keith Dixon and Chris Robinson will probably play on. Brimham Kebby looks a bit suspect at taking these high balls. Darryl Powell now halts the progress of Huddersfield. Full-back Ben Barton to Richards. Big second row forward, trying to find a way through, but put to ground by David Ladd and Martin Wood. Dean Hanger now from acting half. Hands on to St Hilaire, and St Hilaire half stopped by Keith Dixon, but eventually put to ground by Sonny Wackaroo, and Huddersfield right on the Keighley 22 now, applying the pressure. Gary Schofield, a wide ball out to Lee Milner. Milner keeps the ball going, but it's put on the floor and dived on there. That loose ball dived on by Chris Robinson. Keith Dixon at acting half, going on his own, but put to ground by Adrian Toole, the Huddersfield number 8, right on the Keighley 22 metre mark. Matt Foster now trying to find a way through and gains 3 or 4 metres centre field. Ramshaw to David Larder. David Larder on his own. There are no Keighley players outside here in support. Jason Ramshaw from acting half, and Keighley appealing for Huddersfield encroaching, not standing square, but the referee having none of it and telling them to get on with play. Martin Woods pulled down just short of the halfway line, and it's the 5th and final tackle, and Ramshaw back to Keith Dixon, and Keith Dixon will put another high ball over onto that left hand side, and Kebby again hesitant in picking this ball up, but eventually decides to let it run dead. Certainly looking a little bit suspect is Brimham Kebby over on with these balls, and Keith Dixon will certainly capitalise on them. Barton, the Huddersfield full back, number 16, Gary Coulter, who's on bringing the ball away from the top 22. Richards now just short of the halfway line. Lee St Hilaire proving a very elusive player, this Lee St Hilaire. Gains a lot of ground from acting half. Dean Hanger now coming from acting half again. Finds Nick Pinkney and Matt Foster, who wrap him up 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Lee St Hilaire to Mackey. Mackey, a long ball out to Schofield, and Schofield knocks on. Certainly looking ominously dangerous over there with Schofield, but the former Leeds and Great Britain player for once made a handling mistake by knocking that ball on, much to the relief for the Cougar fans. So scrum down some 6-7 metres inside the Cougars half, and it'll be Cougar head and ball. Robinson finds Keith Dixon in support inside of Darryl Powell. Dixon 2 or 3 metres short of the halfway line. Powell now starting to go on his own, runs out of options this side of the field, so I think Nick Pinkney's, certainly Darryl Powell's injured there in that tackle by Basil Richards and Gary Schofield. He's got a knee in the back, I think, as Darryl Powell. Certainly cannot afford to lose the services of this man. Certainly the inspiration between a lot of the Keighley attack, and he certainly looks all right, does Darryl Powell. Obviously took a knock in the lower back or kidneys there. Ramshaw going from acting half on his own, turn down the blind side here. Makes 5 or 6 yards. And lovely handoff there by Martin Wood, and Martin Wood stepping back inside. Good little run there by Keighley loose forward Martin Wood. As the referee blows for the end of the first half. Certainly nobody heard the hooter. Well, I certainly didn't. Certainly Keighley deserving of a 10-4 half-time lead here at the McAlpine Stadium to end the first half. Well, welcome back to the McAlpine Stadium for this afternoon's game between Huddersfield and Keighley Cougars for the start of the second half, with the Cougars leading by 10 points to 4. An early try by Jason Ramshaw, goal by Keith Dixon, put Cougars into a 6-0 lead. Huddersfield replied on 30 minutes with a try by Greg Austin, and then 4 minutes later well taken try by Keighley centre Nick Pinkney put Keighley 10-4 in front. As Keighley kick off to start the second half, ball picked up by young second row forward for Huddersfield, Lee Milner, but he's put to ground right on the 22-metre mark by Grant Dory and Sonny Wackaroo. Darryl Shelford in at acting half, and again Dory and Wackaroo, and this time Ramshaw wrap him up well. Centre layer out to Marsden looking for the way through, managed to keep the ball alive back to centre layer, but he's put to ground by Darren Fleary, who's back on the field, and David Larder. Grant Dory. Basil Richards now trying to find a way through towards the far side of the field, where he's put to ground by David Larder and Martin Wood. Toole, the big number 8 for Huddersfield, hits the halfway line, but he's thumped to the ground by Darren Fleary. Greg Mackey on the last tackle pumps that ball down into the left hand side of the field and goes into touch just this side of the corner flag, so they scrum down. I think Keith Dixon thought he had gone to the right hand side of the corner flag, but they scrum down 10 metres from the Keighley line and 20 metres in from the far touch line. Cougar head and ball. Certainly a clever little kick through by Greg Mackey. Robinson feeding Matt Foster coming in from the right wing. It's almost half 22-metre mark. Martin Woods now in, running wide, but the ball knocked out of his hands and by one of the Huddersfield players, number 16 Gary Coulter. So first penalty this half to Keighley. Keith Dixon kicking this ball into touch on this near touch line, finds touch almost on the halfway line. Jason Ramshaw to start, feeds Grant Dory. Dory charging into the Huddersfield half, meets the reception committee of Lee Milner and Adrian Toole. Ramshaw out to Robinson. Robinson looking for Powell. Powell out wide, feeds Nick Pinkney. Pinkney looking for a wave round Austin, and Greg Austin wraps Nick Pinkney up and loses the ball there, and I think Pinkney's still on the floor, and Huddersfield penalised for knocking that ball out because there were 2 men in on that tackle. So second penalty to Keighley. The rain just managing to hold off here. It's a little bit damp, but as I said earlier, conditions are very firm out there on the field. Certainly conducive to good open rugby. Fleary pulled down just on the Huddersfield 22. Robinson, long ball out to Darryl Powell. Powell looking inside to Andy King. The Aussie still going into the 22. Almost breaks out of that 3-man tackle. Ramshaw going on his own, feeds Powell. Powell steps back inside. Powell going on his own for the Huddersfield line. Lovely little run there by Keighley standoff half Darryl Powell. Martin Wood now right under the post, but wrapped up there by Basil Richards and Bob Marsden. Ramshaw going on his own again now from acting half, but ball knocked forward there, so he signalled a double movement as the referee, so there'll be a penalty to Huddersfield right under their own post. And Gary Schofield hoping to find touch, does so, but makes some 10 metres. So Lee centre layer, restart play, feeds number 11 Lee Milner. Milner to centre layer to Marsden. Marsden trying to fight his way through, but put to ground by Sonny Wackaroo and Grant Dory. Schofield, long ball out to Greg Austin. Austin with space on that far side, but Pinkney again wraps him up well. Matt Foster did well to force him back inside. Schofield at acting half finds Mackey. Mackey looking for runners, finds Dean Hanger, who's coming from the left-hand side of the touch. There's a sad sight there for Keighley as Jason Ramshaw had been out from the field. Marsden out to Milner. Milner looking for a break, but trying to run round Del Powell and eventually caught by Chris Robinson. A good run there by the Huddersfield second row forward. Kebby to Mackie. Mackie looking for a little kick upfield. Does so, but Critchley picked up well, and Mackie manages to bundle him into the in-goal area and eventually into touch. So good piece of rugby there by the Huddersfield scrum half Greg Mackie. Nice little chip over the top, and although it was well gathered by Jason Critchley almost on the Keighley line, Mackie managed to force him into touch, into the in-goal area and into touch. Keith Dixon now dropping out under the post. Pumps the ball down to Mackie. 10 metres inside the Keighley half, and Mackie feeds Toole. Toole looking to bump off Dory, but Dory wraps him up midfield. Some 4 or 5 metres short of the 22, and again Keighley being penalised for a holding down in the tackle. And Schofield deciding to whether to go for a kick at goal or not, or put into touch, and eventually deciding to go for a kick at goal. So Gary Schofield looking to reduce the arrears here, with Huddersfield trailing by 6 points. Certainly a penalty that Keighley could have done with not conceding. Certainly where the position they're in, and Schofield pumps it high. It's got the distance and the height, but it's pulled it to the right of the upright, so a bit of a let off there for Keighley. Phil Cantillon on the field now to replace Jason Critchley, so certainly got a very able deputy for Ramshaw in the form of Phil Cantillon, and certainly his speed will be useful here this afternoon, hopefully. Greg Mackie now picks up from the ensuing dropout after that missed goal attempt by Gary Schofield. Shelford now trying to hand off Sonny Wackaroo, but Wackaroo and Powell wrap him up 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Number 15, James Bunyan, trying to find a way through, but he's bundled to ground by Grant Dory and Phil Cantillon. Mackie, a long ball out to Schofield. Schofield, a little chip over the top. Nice place, piece of opportunist play by Schofield. Back inside to Hanger, and desperate tackle there by Martin Woods, eventually keeping Huddersfield out, but Basil Richards looking dangerous over on that far side of the field, trying to force his way over the Keighley line, but some gang tackling there by Keighley managed to keep him out. The last tackle here is Dean Hanger looking for a way through, and certainly a missed opportunity by Huddersfield there, because certainly a bit of clever play by the former Leeds player Gary Schofield. Nice chip up over the top and regather. Looked a certain scorer, but some good tackling defence work there by the Cougars. It eventually paid off, keeping Huddersfield out. So Keighley in possession, 10 metres from their own line. Darren Fleary makes a good 10 metres there, with a jinking run down straight down the middle of the park. Keith Dixon to David Larder. Larder looking for it. Oh, a lovely ball from David Larder, but unfortunately slightly forward. Certainly if that had come off, Critchley would have been away, because he was into open, broken play and open spaces. But certainly a good driving run there by the Keighley substitute forward David Larder. So Huddersfield, head and ball. Greg Mackie with the ball, out to Schofield. Schofield looking for Barton, puts a lovely chip down the centre of the field, and Barton racing for a try. And that is a superb score for Huddersfield. A lovely chip through, certainly a planned move, because Schofield didn't even move. Just put a little grubber kick through. Barton raced through on his shoulder and did the rest, outpacing Martin Wood to dive on that ball, which is already into the in-goal area, Keighley's in-goal area, right between the sticks, leaving Schofield with the easiest of conversions. Some 9 minutes gone in this second half, and Huddersfield really back in contention now with this Schofield conversion. And Julie puts another 2 points on the board to level the scores. So 49 minutes gone in the game, 9 minutes in the second half, and Huddersfield right back in contention. Certainly we've seen 2 glimpses of the skills of the Huddersfield captain Gary Schofield. Once with a little kick through in the first half, resulting in Greg Austin scoring, and now the second half with Ben Barton capitalising on the Schofield skills. Certainly everybody was commenting that this was the man to watch because he's the man that makes Huddersfield tick. So Keighley, former Martin Wood with the ball right under the post, bringing it away right up to the Keighley 22. And certainly Keighley going to have to go up again now to get back in. They're going to take the 2 points back to Keighley tonight. Phil Cantillon acting aft, feeds Darren Fleary. Fleary looking for a way through, but put to ground by St Hilaire and Toole, and Toole being penalised for pushing Darren Fleary back to the ground. So Keith Dixon to take this kick to touch, and certainly Mr Shaw, the referee from Dewsbury, not happy with something that obviously Gary Schofield said to him. And knowing Gary Schofield, he will have apologised. Certainly can, not nastily, but certainly can manipulate referees, and with all his years of experience. Grant Dorey now charging into the Huddersfield half. 10 metres short of the Huddersfield 22. Cantillon feeds Robinson to Fleary. Fleary racing into towards the Huddersfield 22 metre mark, centre field. Cantillon switches play, brings Robinson. Robinson finds Dixon, but Dixon's wrapped up by Gary Schofield right on just inside the Huddersfield 22. Robinson to Darryl Powell. Powell deciding to go on his own. Feeds Critchley. Critchley half through. Has Cantillon in support. Cantillon racing to the post, but put to ground down by Barton and Mackey. Pinckney switches play to Powell. Powell finds Pinckney again. Pinckney going on his own, racing away to the line, and held up just short of the Huddersfield line on the final tackle. Or is it? Because I think the referee is having a word with the Huddersfield scrum half, Greg Mackey, and I think this could be a penalty to Keighley right on the Huddersfield line, and it is. Taking a swing at Nick Pinckney, who almost found his way over that try line yet again. Another little jinking, speedy run by this top-class Cougar centre, Nick Pinckney, almost paid dividends again. So Keith Dixon with a golden opportunity now to extend Keighley's lead with a penalty kick, some 12-13 metres from the Huddersfield try line, and some 6-7 metres to the right-hand side of the post. So Dixon kicking left-footed, hopefully to curl this ball in between those two upright sticks. But he's hooked it, pulled it to the left of the post. So a let off for Huddersfield, and certainly a golden opportunity missed there for Keighley to go into the lead. So Schofield with a dropout on the Huddersfield 22 metre mark to restart play as Huddersfield make a further substitution with a big ex-Warrington, former Huddersfield player Dave King coming on to replace Bob Marsden. Matt Foster now picks up from Schofield's dropout, feeds David Larder. Larder in, coming in field, but put to ground just inside the Keighley half. Cantillon acting half, feeds Robinson. Robinson long ball out to Wood. Wood long ball out to Wackaroo. Wackaroo with space here now, looking for a way through. Trying to hand off Gary Schofield, but Schofield hangs on grimly as Wackaroo takes play just inside the Huddersfield half. King acting half, feeds Wood. Wood charging upfield. Cantillon will go on his own. I think Phil Cantillon he does so. He had a look up, decided to go on his own from acting half. Martin Wood now he's going on his own again. Martin Wood, I think he was going to offload there, but one player certainly run off. Loose ball there, picked up by Nick Pinckney, but the referee has signalled the ball was knocked forward there by Keighley and accidentally touched by a further Keighley player, so they scrum down. Huddersfield head and ball. little bit unfortunate there with the Cougars. Mackey feeding Schofield. Schofield to Barton, who's come up and joined the line. And wrapped up there by Keith Dixon and Darryl Powell. Schofield acting half, feeds Darryl Shelford. Shelford well wrapped up there by Aussie centre for Cougars. Andy King. And Mackey lost that ball, but referee signal it went back as picked up by Dave King, the substitute forward for Huddersfield. Schofield, long ball out to Gary Colton. Colton, broken space with Schofield in support. Schofield looking for a way through, but wrapped up there by Chris Robinson. Sent it there to Mackey, and Huddersfield looking dangerous at the moment with Milner in possession, midfield. But his progress halted there by Darryl Powell, and ball lost in the tackle. Dory picks up and feeds Darren Fleary, and Fleary charging away upfield. Met by Basil Richards. And Richards puts Fleary to the floor. Robinson acting half, feeds Critchley, who's coming from the left wing. And again, his progress is halted by Basil Richards, Huddersfield second row. Robinson to Powell. Powell feeding Wackaroo, and Wackaroo racing to a gap there, but stopped by Lee Milner and Darryl Shelford. Darryl Powell now in centre field, trying to find a way through, but the Huddersfield have tightened the defence up centre field. Ian Gately now. Foraging run there by Gately, finds Martin Wood in support. And a lovely ball from Gately. And I think Wood has taken a bit of a knock there. He gets up, eventually plays the ball, and Robinson puts a ball into the top left-hand corner of the field, picked up by Dean Hanger, and Hanger looking for a way through, and he's lost the ball. Picked up by Grant Dory, Powell, and Huddersfield. Much to the disgust of the Cougar support, penalising them for stealing the ball with two men in the tackle. So a penalty to Huddersfield here. Some 56 minutes gone in this game, 16 minutes in the second half, and a lot of the Cougar fans disgusted with the referee's decision there and letting him know in no uncertain terms. So Huddersfield now with Adrian Toole charging up centre there to Mackey. Mackey finds Dave King, this big set forward, but tackle there by Fleary. Fleary rounds Foster. Sorry. Huddersfield now, Mackey looking for support, tries to go on his own, finds Coulter centre field. And the referee signal forward pass there, certainly looked it from where I'm sitting. And a bit of a let off for Keighley there, because their defence was 6s and 7s with that strong run by Dave King, who managed to offload to I think Greg Austin, and he managed to keep the ball infield to Mackey, who had Keighley a little bit ragged. Martin Wood being out from the field, and he's been replaced by, I think, David Larder. Robinson feeding Matt Foster centre field. Pinkney now, Larder, sorry. Next some 4 or 5 metres upfield, wrapped up by Coulter and King. Robinson to Powell. Powell looking for runners, finds Fleary on the inside, but his progress is halted by St Hilaire and Basil Richards. Cantillon to Andy King. Andy King handing off a couple of players, but keeping going, heading towards the halfway line, looking for support. Feeds Fleary. Fleary straightens up down centre field. Good run, 15-metre run there by Darren Fleary, Cougar second row forward. Gately storming upfield, looking for support. And the referee there penalising Huddersfield for obstructing one of the Keighley players who were trying to get onto Ian Gately's shoulder for that final pass, which certainly Gately had bust this Huddersfield defence wide open and was looking for support as one of the Keighley players was impeded. So penalty right in front of the posts. And a further opportunity for Keith Dixon to put Cougars in front yet again. But the scores at the moment still 10-all as Dixon slots it nicely between the uprights. to put Keighley Cougars into a 12-10 lead with some 20 minutes gone in this second half. So we're three quarters of the way through the game. Keighley leading narrowly by 12 points to 10. And certainly this game's going to be nip and tuck and going right to the wire. So Dixon to restart play. He'll pump a long high ball down into the top left-hand corner of the field, picked up by Mackie. Mackie looking for Toole trying to bump off Powell, but he won't make any yardage on that man. He just does stop them in their tracks. James Bunyan now coming centre field into the key over the 22-metre mark. Sent Hilaire to Schofield. Schofield, long ball out to Greg Austin. Austin with space on that far side, and Dean Hanger rounding Foster again. And they're looking dangerous here at Huddersfield. Puts a high ball up and knocked on there by St Hilaire. Certainly that kick ahead had turned the Keighley defence, and Keith Dixon were looking desperately for it. And Huddersfield, luckily, St Hilaire managed to get a hand to it, but failed to hold on to that high ball and knocked the ball forward. So let Keighley off the pressure. So scrum down just inside the Keighley 22, 20 metres in from that far touchline. Robinson feeding Foster again. Foster breaking centre field. Good run there by Matt Foster. Made some good 12, 13 metres, valuable yardage. Daryl Powell feeds Larder. Larder in support. Makes 2 or 3, gets over the advantage line. Grant Dory, a strong run there put to ground by number 17, Dave King. It looked suspiciously high, did that tackle, but referees having none of it. Robinson back in field to Darren Fleary, and Fleary still forcing his way forward, trying to fight his way out. Phil Cantillon stepping upfield, stepping on the gas. Feeds Gately to Wackaroo. Wackaroo running wide, feeds Foster. Foster trying to round Hanger, but Hanger hands onto him. Gately, Dixon will put a high ball up here. Does so onto full-back Ben Barton. Barton's right underneath it, takes it well. Rounds Power, but progress halted there by Phil Cantillon and Grant Dory. Huddersfield just on their own 22. Dean Hanger makes a good 11 metres straight down the centre of the park. Eventually being put to ground by Grant Dory. King hands on to Toole. Toole looking to keep the ball alive, just so to St Hilaire. Mackie centre field to Hanger. Hanger trying to find a way through, but halted by Dory and Powell. Still just inside the Huddersfield half. Mackie, long ball in field to Schofield. Schofield looking for a way through. Slips the ball back in field. Huddersfield keeping this ball alive. Hanger back in field to Barton. Barton looking for a way through, but Keighley have them well wrapped up at the moment and making very little yardage. Some 2 or 3 metres inside the Keighley half here, with King handing on to Toole. Toole out on the far side of the field, but there's nobody on his outside. Gary Coulter in at acting half, 10 metres inside the Cougars half, puts a high but to Mackie. Mackie puts a high ball onto Keith Dixon, but Dixon takes it comfortably. Steps outside both of them, going down the far side of the field. Keith Dixon jinking past 3 players, eventually caught up with by Gary Coulter. Matt Foster in field, looking for a way through, but Basil Richards just manages to halt his progress. Cantillon to Robinson. Robinson to Powell. Long ball, Andy King stepping back inside Schofield, but wrapped up by Darryl Shelford. Powell feeds Critchley. Critchley now charging into the Huddersfield half. Hands off Lee Milner, but meets Adrian Toole head on, and Toole thunders him to the floor. Robinson to Wackaroo, to Fleary. Fleary looking for a way through. Centre field. But Toole again, and Dave King halt his progress. Robinson, little chip over the top into the corner. Picked up by number 15, James Bunyan. Bunyan coming in field. Robinson half stops him, but his progress is duly halted there by Darren Fleary. Still inside the Huddersfield 22, centre field. Lee St Hilaire trying to race away. Very quick hooker. Playing well, having some good runs from acting half. Dave King makes 2 or 3 yards upfield on the far side of the field. Dean Hanger racing away now, trying to find Foster, and passes Foster again, but picked up by Pinkney and bundled into touch. So a good covering tackle there by Nick Pinkney. Certainly Dean Hanger's very elusive once he gets into broken play, as Grant Dory being substituted now by another fellow Aussie mate, Steve Parsons, coming on for his second game as substitute. Him and Andy King just recently come over from Australia to join the Cougars. King making his full debut here today. Darryl Powell to Keith Dixon. Dixon pulled down just 2 or 3 metres inside the curve. Steve Parsons now, first run of the game, charging upfield. Makes a good 14, 15 metres into the Huddersfield half. Does the big fella. Cantillon acting half, feeds Larder. Larder centre field, looking for a way through, but and Huddersfield penalised again because there was certainly Coulter throwing some wild. No, he's been penalised for using the knees in the tackle on. Sorry, not for Dave Ladd. It was Nick Pinkney. So Dixon with a further penalty now. Some 30 metres, 32, 3 metres out from the post, but centre field. So again, can Keith Dixon extend Keighley's lead even further? Certainly every point here this afternoon at the McAlpine Stadium is valuable, and Keith Dixon pulls it to the left of the uprights. So another let off there for Huddersfield, an unfortunate miss for the Cougars, but hopefully they'll still regain possession from this the ensuing Schofield dropout. And Gary Schofield pumps a high ball upfield, picked up by Darren Fleary. Fleary's charging upfield, half bust through Gary Coulter's tackle and almost hits the halfway line. Cantillon now, Robinson, Gately. Gately stepping inside, Lee Milner keeps the ball alive. Cantillon racing away now. Good drinking run by still going, is Cantillon, hands off Schofield. But he's been hurt there in that tackle. And the Lee St-Hilaire quick to realise it because Cantillon twisted badly there. And certainly Keighley can do without these injuries here this afternoon. But St-Hilaire, to his credit, was quick to realise that Cantillon got injured in that tackle there because of that superb and elusive run there by Phil Cantillon, handed off Gary Schofield, but Lee St-Hilaire quick to get to him. But with him trying to twist out of that tackle, he's obviously turned an ankle over. And the physio on the field at the moment, tending to his right ankle. And St-Hilaire, cheeky little chappy, nipping a little of the Cougars drinkies. But he's deservingly so because it was his attention that drew the attention of his quick spotting that drew the attention of the Keighley physio to come on for Phil Cantillon. Certainly Keighley can do without this list of injuries. Steve Parsons now, the big Aussie striding into the Huddersfield 22, and he's still making ground. Pulled down eventually some 10 metres short of the Huddersfield line. Robinson feeding Fleary, Fleary looking for a way through, but the Huddersfield reception committee of Milner, Toole and King halt his progress. Powell now, trick through. Oh, and a despairing dive there by Jason Critchley after a lovely kick through by Darryl Powell. And the touch judge coming on the field because Darryl Powell's progress was certainly impeded by a Huddersfield tackler there interfering with his progress. But Jason Critchley just missing out on that clever little kick through by Darryl Powell. And referee Mr. Shaw having a word with Gary Schofield. So obviously Gary Schofield the culprit there, and Gary Schofield certainly won't be happy with that. He'll be having words with the referee, no doubt, as he's prone to do. But I'm not happy with the touch judge neither, Mr. Schofield. So Keith Dixon with the kick, feeds Parsons. Parsons charging to that Huddersfield line, and he's halted just short, 2 or 3 metres short. Keith Dixon again, long ball out to Robinson. Robinson looking for Fleary. He's got Fleary on the outside of him. Cantillon, who recovered very quickly, looking for Robinson. Robinson feeding Wackaroo. And certainly these are the places where Wackaroo's very dangerous with some space. And Wackaroo penalised for using the elbow in the tackle there, so on Mackie. So Schofield with a kick to touch. And a golden opportunity for the Cougars. Gone begging there with that penalty being conceded. St Hilaire feeding King. King charging upfield. But he's put to ground by Nick Pinkney. St Hilaire feeding Toole, and certainly Huddersfield using these big fellas well to make some valuable yardage upfield as Toole takes play. Some 3 or 4 metres inside the Cougar half. Richards now racing into the Keighley half. St Hilaire acting half, going on his own. And Keighley be penalised there. Certainly a clever piece of play by Lee St Hilaire. Saw that Keighley was still within 10 metres mark. Headed straight for them. And they'd no choice but to tackle him, because if they hadn't done, he would have been away. So Schofield with a penalty now to the left of the uprights, left of the Cougar post, just outside the 22-metre mark, and certainly within the capabilities of Schofield's kicking prowess. This is Gary Schofield going to level the scores here at the McAlpine Stadium this afternoon, and he's pulled it to the right of the post, and he's not happy with himself. So a let off for Keighley this time. The score remains after 71 minutes. Keighley 12, Huddersfield 10. Some 9 minutes left in this first half. Second half. As Keith Dixon drops out and puts a long high ball into the Huddersfield half. Ben Barton now trying to find a way through, but Martin Wood back on the field. And Nick Pinkney halts his progress. Mackie looking for Toole, but makes little progress because he took that ball standing still, and Parsons and Gately halted his progress. Lee Milner just inside the Keighley half. St Hilaire to Mackie. Mackie missing out. King finds Coulter. Coulter's progress duly halted there by Darren Fleary and Phil Cantillon. Richards takes it left again, finds Toole. Certainly a busy player, this Toole, and King managed to keep the ball alive to St Hilaire. St Hilaire very quick, makes some good yardage up centre field to the Keighley 22. Hanger, Mackie to Schofield. Schofield a long chip into the Keighley 20 in goal area, but the ball goes dead. And another Keighley player injured over on the far side of the field. They're going down in numbers of Keighley here. We've got Robinson on the floor, Fleary on the floor, and Pinkney on the floor. So Keighley's injury toll mounting quickly here. And there's some tired bodies out here on this McAlpine Stadium field. And certainly they're going to be a very tense last 7 minutes of this game here, with Cougars hanging on grimly to a 12-10 lead as Simon Ray comes on to join the flagging players, and Robinson still unable to get off his back. Obviously got cramp, and the referee signalling that they've got to restart play with Robinson still on the floor. And Keighley want to get on with it quickly, or else they're going to concede a penalty. Wackaroo now, some tired limbs out here because the field must be sapping the strength of both sides because it's very sandy out there. Parsons now fighting his way upfield. Cantillon feeding Gately. Gately bumping off St Hilaire, but eventually put to ground by the Huddersfield second row pair of Milner and Richards. Powell now feeds Critchley. Critchley looking for support, finds Robinson. Robinson to Wackaroo. Wackaroo centre field. Cantillon acting half, feeds Wood. Wood with looking for running on his own, but feeds Fleary. Fleary charging upfield, makes some good yardage there. Darren Fleary 10 metres short of the Huddersfield 22. On the final tackle, Dixon will put a high ball into the left-hand touchline, sorry, right-hand touchline. Finds touch right on the Huddersfield 22. So scrum down, Huddersfield head and ball. And Darryl Powell's cut over his right eye has obviously opened up again, and David Larder comes on. Mackie finds Hanger, who's coming from the left-hand side of the field. They'll bring play to our left here, or Huddersfield right with King, because certainly Schofield looking to orchestrate things. Long ball out to Shelford. Shelford looking for a way through, but Shelford's progress halted there by Andy King and Jason Critchley. Bunyan now going in field. Sent Hilaire to Schofield, a long ball out to Mackie. Mackie looking for runners, finds Richards on the inside. May have been better moving it out wide, because Keighley looked to be down in numbers on that far side and concede a penalty right on the centre line, and that ball has it has found touch. It looked as though it wasn't going to find touch, but Keighley under pressure now as St Hilaire takes a tap right on the Cougar 22. Darren King charging towards the Keighley line. St Hilaire finds Booth. There are desperate times here for Keighley. Cougars, as they halt his progress, 3 or 4 metres short of the line. St Hilaire, long ball out to Mackie to Schofield. And certainly Keighley down in numbers as Milner feeds Schofield, Shelford, and they're back with numbers here again, but some good tackling there by Keighley. Cougars keep Shelford out. Schofield now, long ball to Mackie. Mackie looking for runners out wide and finds Richards, and Richards knocks on. And what a let-off there for the Cougars, because they look to be struggling a little bit, and certainly Huddersfield piling the pressure on. Both teams now are in the desperate straits of this game as we're on countdown. We're in the last 3 minutes of the game. The time stands at the moment exactly on 77 minutes. Robinson for Foster. Sorry, Ray. Woods now centre field. Cantillon at acting half. They'll feed Sonny Wackaroo. Wackaroo steps inside King, but King hangs on grimly. Keighley making only 2 or 3 metres from each player the ball at the moment as Cantillon scampers away from acting half. 10 metres inside the Cougars half still. Dory going on his own, but he makes 2 or 3 metres still inside the Keighley half as Cantillon will find Dixon. Dixon will pump this ball upfield, does so, but picked up by Bunyan, who races infield trying to elude Powell, but Powell halts his progress with the assistance of Ian Gately. And Barton, who's joined the lines, progress halted by number 14 Phil Cantillon. Richards racing away, but and referee signals back to 6 because Martin Wood certainly touched that ball. Richards looked to be away then, the big second row forward. And Dean Hanger now trying to race away, and he loses the ball, picked up by Matt Foster. Foster coming field. Certainly Huddersfield could have done with hanging on to that ball. Foster at Wackaroo acting half, finds Keith Dixon. Dixon looking for come back inside, but his progress halted by Darren King and St Hilaire. Cantillon feeds Critchley. Critchley looking for a way, and the Cougar fans now getting behind their heroes as we're on countdown here, and Cantillon scampering away to the halfway line. We're in the last minute of the game. Critchley racing away, trying to race away, down this near touchline. 7 metres in from touch. Powell chips through, finds Shelford, but Shelford wrapped up there. Last minute of the game. It'll be desperation stuff here for Keighley and for Huddersfield, and everything will be on. Schofield looking for options here. It'll be a chip over the top here from Schofield. Picked up by Martin Woods. And Keighley not happy with that. Referee not happy with that shoulder charge on Gary Schofield. 6 or 7 metres inside the Huddersfield half as Gary Coulter pumps that ball into touch. 10 metres short of the Keighley 22. So Booth takes the tap, looks for Richards. Desperation stuff here for Cougars. They wrap Richards up centre field. Looking for a quick play of the ball, finds Booth, Booth centre field, finds Mackie, long ball out to Coulter. Coulter wrapped up by Powell and Andy King, still outside the Keighley 22. And we're in 80 minutes gone here. Mackie finding Dave King, big prop. Wackaroo hangs on grimly. Mackie along looking for runners, finds Shelford. Shelford to Booth, Booth going on his own. Keeps the ball alive to King. King's progress halted by Parsons and the ball's still alive. And that's knocked back down. As Grant Dorey dives on a loose ball to save the day for Cougars, hopefully. Keighley charging upfield, centre field. Second tackle gone only, so Keith Dixon, I think they've only got to hang on here of the Cougars. And we're certainly into injury time because 80 minutes has gone on the clock here. Phil Cantillon just short of the halfway line. Put to ground by Steve Booth. Dixon feeding Parsons, Parsons hands off. Number 11, Lee Milner, but Milner hanging on grimly. Parsons taking his time getting up, quite rightly, because Keighley 2 points in front as Robinson puts a high ball into this left-hand corner of the field. And number 15, James Bunyan, wrapped up by Critchley and Parsons. Mackie look for long ball upfield. Slices his kick, picked up by Darryl Powell. Powell feeds Dixon. Dixon sidesteps Mackie. Dixon trying to find valuable yardage upfield and does so. 10 metres inside his own half. Critchley now makes 2 or 3 metres towards the centre field. Cantillon acting after Martin Wood. And how long are they playing extra time here? Cantillon to Wackaroo. Trying to find a way through over on the far side of the field. Cantillon feeding Dorey charging upfield. Some desperate play by both sides here. Cougars hanging on with this 2-point lead as Keith Dixon pumps it upfield and into the right hand corner of the field to gain some valuable seconds here, because there'll be a scrum down 11 metres short of the Huddersfield line and 20 metres in from touch, and certainly Keighley taking the time here. Mackie feeds the scrum to Hanger, and the hooter goes to signal the end of the game, and Keighley deservedly so, winning by 12 points to 10. And what a hard-earned win this has been. It's been desperate stuff in the last few minutes, some desperate tackling, but they've finally saved the day to gain a valuable 2 points here at McAlpine Stadium. A try by Jason Ramshaw and Nick Pinkney, and a goal by Keith Dixon, giving Keighley the 10 points in the first half to 4 points through a try by Greg Austin, but a try by Ben Barton in the second half and a conversion by Gary Schofield levelled the scores. But the Keith Dixon penalty following on to put Keighley 12-10 in front as the Cougar players come to salute this Cougar faith following, because they've certainly given them some support when they needed it right at the end. And Keighley winning narrowly by 12 points to 10 as the Cougar players salute the Cougar fans, applauding them for their efforts in getting over here. Wearily trail off this McAlpine Stadium field with a valuable, hard-earned 2 points to win by 12 points to 10. and hopefully with a break of 2 or 3 weeks can get their injuries sorted out and be fresh for the next game, which will be at home on May the 5th. Right, that was desperate stuff. Entertaining.